The private sector continues to actively contribute to the economy through job creation, technology and infrastructure investment, and community programs. And as we say at Safaricom, it's about not just technology, but using technology to provide solutions that solve societal problems, whether that is in healthcare, you'll have heard, in agriculture with the vouchering program, driving digital inclusion and also financial inclusion across the country. The private sector plays a vital role in accelerating the SDGs, and we are all here this week to talk about the SDGs, which we know are behind, and private sector plays a crucial role in this area, and SDGs are crucial for development. We will be participating in several stakeholder forums this week, where we will look at how best to approach key SDGs targets and follow up with commitments towards achieving them. As Kenya business leaders, we are privileged to have the support of our government, to the leadership of His Excellency William Ruto. When I listen to the President always speaking, we say no more. He is our Chief Marketing Officer who has enabled efforts to drive innovation and economic outcomes through a digital superhighway, which you'll have heard him speak about. The digital superhighway has created opportunities in streamlining government services, which has improved outputs and digitization of records. This has been facilitated by private sector investment in technology, some of which were mentioned today, and we are very happy to be involved. And this is broad partnerships between banks, technology companies, private sector players across the board. Our role as private sector has been to support digital transformation by investing in infrastructure, in financial support, and you'll have heard John speaking, and also in training. So I urge everyone in the room and potential investors in particular from the US to take this opportunity to invest in Kenya and to take cognizance of the digital revolution that is happening. As members of KEPSA, we are ready to support any engagement with the public sector and deepen private sector involvement in steering the economy forward.
A year and a half ago, we decided that we are going to distribute our fertilizer on a digital platform using e-voucher. We registered 5 million farmers, and every farmer today in Kenya has a voucher that gives them a government subsidy, and therefore they pay less what the government has subsidized on fertilizer. It is amazing. And in fact, I went to one of the depots to see. There is no cash. Everybody has come with their phone, with their voucher, and they are paying using a digital platform. It has done three things for our Kenyan farmers. It has increased efficiency, it has increased transparency, and today we have a record as government as to how much money we are going to pay, because we can easily reconcile the vouchers that have been given out by our depots from what the farmers have bought. And number three, it has also given us accuracy that farmers are buying seeds and fertilizer that is certified by our KEFIS, the certifying agency in Kenya. So Peter here will tell you they worked with us on developing, again, the voucher framework with them, and many banks are part of that ecosystem. And I'm sure my good brother here from NCBA can confirm that the banking industry are now part of that ecosystem of working with us on that digital platform to be able to distribute fertilizer. One last thing is it's very interesting today on the predictability of weather. I mean, the simple gadgets that today are being used by farmers to know when to plant. They can predict up to a month of what's going to happen. And I find, even in my farm, that my farm manager can tell me we should plant on Tuesday next week because there will be rain on Thursday and Friday. And that really is phenomenal. This is something that has never been the case. So there is much more accuracy, especially in the context of climate change, on when farmers can plant, on when they can do the next step. And therefore, I would look forward to the rollout of the technology you have talked to me about, and hopefully we can build it into the ecosystem that exists at the moment.
I'm pleased to announce that Kenya will co-host the inaugural World Chamber Federation Africa Summit in Nairobi from April 9 to 11 next year, alongside the International Chamber of Commerce and the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That is yet another opportunity for you to find a space where you will speak to the African business people combined with business people from across the world in one sitting and explore opportunities that would help us drive trade, investment, and many opportunities as we look into the future. Let me confirm to you one final thing, that Kenya is a robustly democratic country. You have no risk of anybody appropriating your business. We have a very strong judiciary. We have an accountable administration. We have a parliament that works, and we have systems that protect business and protect the rights of everybody. That is the beauty of running a democracy. It's not easy, as you know, running a democracy. But they say it is the most difficult, but a better one has not been found. So, and we are very proudly democratic. Sometimes it's noisy, but that's the beauty of democracy.
We've just finished the policy, and I'm happy to report here that Parliament is now seized with the necessary legislation and guidelines that will support our AI journey. But already we are leveraging on AI to do two very important things. One, we are leveraging on AI to do our means testing instrument for how we are distributing education money to beneficiaries, so that we can use AI to get the algorithms that will give us what is the financial status of which parent. We are using the same to desegregate how we distribute our fertilizer to farmers. And we are now using it for the beneficiaries of our universal health coverage program. There are people who government has to pay for because they cannot afford. Again, AI is helping us in that space. But finally, maybe something that I would ask Charles here is the challenge we have with the negative effects of AI. We have a lot of generative stuff, fake news, misinformation, disinformation. Some of it that hardly people know can know what is true from what is not true. And it is quite a menace. So again, that's the space that we need to work together. And finally, to think about cybersecurity. We still have very serious challenges around cybersecurity. Sometimes I have to call Peter to figure out when government services are attacked, and he's been immensely useful with Safaricom and other players. So again, I think there is scope for us to collaborate with Google and others so that we can better secure that place and You know, even the conversation we are having in the Summit of the Future is about artificial intelligence, the misuse and the misuse. You know, there are those who are missing the opportunity to use it, and there are those, of course, who are in the space I've talked about. So again, that is space we can all think about.
Our parliament has also enacted legislation to transform healthcare, shifting the focus from curative to preventive, and that presents a very big space for investment. We have just advertised a big program that is going to require Siemens, many of the other companies, Eden, GE, and many others to invest in our healthcare infrastructure space. This is again another opportunity in the pharmaceutical space, medical devices, ARVs, medical equipment, and other health innovations. There are also opportunities in building private hospitals, cancer centers, and other special medical services. Although over 90% of Kenya's energy comes from renewable sources, there are still opportunities in the renewable energy sector. Currently, at least 90% of our grid is generated from renewable sources, primarily geothermal, wind, and solar. We are committed to achieving 100% renewable energy nationwide in 7 years. I invite the American private sector to invest in closing this gap. It's many small gap, but you can find your way in. We are harmonizing the corporate tax space with global standards. The requirement, for example, for you to pay tax for services out of Kenya has been removed. You can now go ahead and export whatever services that you are engaging out of Kenya without having to argue with the taxman. We are also working to make Kenya's export processing zones and special economic zones more competitive. And additionally, we are expanding our digital infrastructure to bridge the ICT gap, unlock opportunities in digital economy, and drive innovation. Nairobi is home to globally recognized Silicon Savannah. It's the centerpiece of our strategy to make Kenya a leading tech hub. I know many of you have heard about Konza. There's a whole ecosystem that is built out of Konza, and we are looking at opportunities and investment portfolio that can find their way into that tech system. And to the companies that are here, I am sure I'm not sharing a very big secret, because many US tech companies have already figured this out, with brands like IBM, Cisco, Google here, Microsoft, and Oracle establishing a strong presence in Kenya. One that was mentioned here is that while I was here in May, we signed off a partnership between Kenya, UAE, and Microsoft to build the first ever data center out of our green energy resources in Naivasha. I'm happy to report that there is tremendous progress. The breaking ground of the site has already taken place, and I am looking forward to a very exciting moment. And that data center will be a shared resource. It will not be Kenyan. It will be a global resource. And I'm looking forward to other companies taking advantage of this piece of infrastructure. I remember speaking to Oracle about what they wanted to do and how we can partner with them in that space.